This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com.
Hey everybody, it's your old pal Rob. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite subjects, and we're going to be putting together some of my favorite print and play games. We've been covering this a lot lately, but I wanted to do something about print and play games that are not, and I do mean that are not, D100 and 4 Against Darkness. Now don't get me wrong, they are two of the greatest print and play games ever made. It's just easy to put them onto a list. So if I made a list, what would be at the top? Probably those two. But there are just so many other fantastic games, and I want to point these out. And we'll start with the big two guys that came out with something else, because 4 Against Mars, I think, is a fantastic game, and it's just absolutely a masterpiece. And it's one of those games that I think you really need to check out. And I wanted to see if I had, and also from Andrea is a one that is called Elder Rich Wood. Okay, this is really interesting because you're going to be a noble, and there's a darkness that is going on, and it's coming out. And you could play one of like 32 different nobles, and the story kind of changes, and it's just really dark. It's fantastic, and it's a great little role-playing thing, adventure that you go through, and that is absolutely fantastic. On the other side, from D100 MK Games, Martin, and these are all, you can all find these at Drive-Thru RPG. He's come out with what I consider one of my favorites, and that's D100 Space. Okay, first you take D100 Dungeon, and then you put it in outer space. You have your own crew. I have the book. You can print this out. All the great, you know, and all you need is a couple of D10s, and you are off and running again. And it's just from creating your captain, your crew, and everything. It's just another masterpiece from Martin. So, you know, with the big guys out of the way, I wanted to make sure that we covered that. A couple of things that I don't have, because I'm going to be showing you a bunch of different books here. But I wanted to make mention of Marching Order. I couldn't find the book around here. Marching Order, go to Drive-Thru RPG, check that out. You are going down a dungeon in a marching order, and how you manipulate and how you take damage. So good, so good. Okay, Game Crafters, you can get it, or just type in Marching Orders. Another great print and play game. From Toby Lancaster, a guy that we've been talking a lot about with 2D Dungeon, he's come out with Intergalactic Space Trader. You're going to want to check that out. Now, this game is like a buck, but you are going to be taking, and you are going to be trading, you're going to be docking on different planets and things like that, and going through different things. There's a couple of books that you can print out, and I'm going to tell you this much: what a fantastic ride this game is. It's just so much fun. You know, how you control your ship, of trying to get to a point where you can upgrade a ship. You're going to want to download that, and it's just a wonderful adventure. One of the games that I consider that is close to D100 and 4 Against Darkness is No Quest. No Quest is fantastic. It is a very, it's just an amazing game. We did a live video on it last week. You're going to want to check it out and see what I'm talking about. And I just did No Quest. There is another book to it, which I'm going to pull out here, which is the Expanded World, which adds so much more. And we're going to be taking a look at that live as well. And it just opens everything up. You can, and all he's asking is for a donation, and you're off and running with another great thing. Just have yourself some graph paper and some pencils, and just have fun. And it is fun. And we'll be talking about in a separate video next week about all the things that you're going to need so you can print these things out and bind these things. And I'm going to show you every way from laminating all the way to binding, the certain pencils that I like to have, erasers, and all the materials that you can get for very little low cost so you can bind things up the way I do. Speaking of which, since I'm holding this, is Dungeon Local 001. Now, what's this about? Well, I'm going to tell you. The heroes have come down and just completely wiped out your dungeon. Okay, killed your overlord, and now you are going to take one of these numerous different jobs, either as a freelancer. Hold on here, so I can turn the page. Maybe you're a monster. Maybe you are an engineer, and you are going to be trying to rebuild the dungeon and get it back to its greatness, and so forth and so on, and setting traps and building things and cleaning. You could be the cleaner and things like that. And it's really a neat little adventure as you're rolling and building your own dungeon. And when you're done, where you place things and the things that you do, some of the dangers that you're going to run into as things try to stop you from rebuilding everything back to greatness. And it is just a fun little thing. You could find that again on Drive-Thru RPG. Now, the people that did No Quest, they also did another fantastic adventure, which is Ronin. Okay, and boy, oh boy, is this good, because you are going to be taking on villains. I laminated all these sheets here, and you are going to be rolling, and there are just going to be different things that are going to happen. You're going to be running into noblemen and the villains, and you know, different clans and stuff like that, and your interaction, and you're telling a story, and it just is just a fantastic, wonderful experience that hopefully we'll get to show you here, and I think you will absolutely love. Next up, well, Toby Lancaster, we've covered it here on the channel, but 2D6 Dungeon is a masterpiece. I have the hard copy edition, but I suggest downloading the PDF and being able to print it out, because it'll give you the bigger things to roll on, the bigger charts to roll on, which will help you. This is the layer expansion. You'll get into that later, but you are creating your own dungeon. You're taking and you're creating your own story, and it's such a beautiful thing. It really does. I get so excited about stuff like this and the things that it does, and that they do, and how much they move me and how much I love them. And last but not least, I wanted to cover a game that I really, really am enjoying, and that is Dungeon Blitz. This one is the Blood Castle. Now, each one has a different, it's only a few pages. It's about 24 pages for each one, and then at the end I'll have a quick reference. But you are going to go through the Blood Castle, and you're going to deal with that. But there are other ones here, such as the Catacombs of Chaos. I put them all together because the rules are pretty much the same. It's just the charts are different, of course. And then Den of Goblins. These are penny on the dollars, but they are fantastic experiences that you're just going to have so much fun playing. Also, I don't have it here in front of me, but one of the greatest print and play games is The Drifter, from my good friend Glowing Turtle, who has just old spaghetti western meets modern day board game playing, in the way that it takes a lot from Barbarian a bit, but it has its own feel to it. You are a drifter, an outlaw, and you are trying to raise money so you can retire off into the sunset, but you're being chased by a posse of lawmen that want to get you, and the stories that happen as you roll, and the things and just trying to survive is fantastic as you try to get to the end game, which is never easy. Also from the Great Glowing Turtle is, well, Star Drifter, which is the drifter in outer space. You're you've got your crew, your ship. You're just going out there in this massive universe and doing all types of things, and it is just a wild and fantastic ride. And I really highly suggest them. You can get those also at Drive Through RPG. I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to finish up with this, okay? There are so many great games out there, and we all love to pay the money for the big box games, okay? But, you know, there comes to a point, a time, when we want to just experience things. I'm not saying don't go out and buy some of these big games, but you know something, in a time when there are just things are so tight and tough for everybody, you know, when you can go and donate to these people who are just so creative and so beautiful and are just, you know, just creating these wonderful, fantastic experiences for us to enjoy. Well, you know something, we should help them too, because you know maybe they make the next big box game that we want. But these things also bring us something when we don't have our groups, or we can play solo, or we can just do something with our kids and stuff like that. You know, they like to draw and stuff like that. You know, and use that gray matter a little bit differently. You know, a game's a game, whether it's $1 or it's $250. And the main word is fun. And that's what these things are. Go down to Drive Through RPG. Take a look at some of these games. And you know, in this very difficult times of the recession and everything like that, I really try to point out things that can help people kind of forget, you know, the way things are, and be able to experience things such as this affordably, and be able to pay, of course, their mortgage and stuff like that. So again, my dear friends, definitely check this stuff out, and there's so much more out there. Somebody had mentioned Scarlet Warrior. I'm going to be checking that out, and as these come out, we will make videos of it, because ultimately it doesn't have to be totally new. What we want to do is show you things that are just fun, and fun is the main word here that we hope to bring to you guys each and every time here on Rob's Tabletop World. I hope you enjoyed this list, and until next time, it's your old pal Rob. We'll see you soon, everybody.